So we all know that the California Performance Test is one of the most important and crucial components of the California bar exam. I push my applicants to get at least a 70, as it is worth the wait of 2 essays. Here are 5 tips on how you can get there too. Number 1, structure. Unless the task memorandum gives you an entirely different organization scheme, your organization will always fall in line with IRAC format. Regardless if they're assigning you a client opinion letter or a demand letter or an objective or persuasive memo, remember you are always in IRAC format. That brings me to number 2, where do you get your structure? The case law. So you're looking for multiple tests, you're looking for standards. When you get to the case law, you do want to kind of get an idea if the case is on point with your client's position or what the task that has been assigned to you is, and whether or not you have a strong or weak position in what you're trying to argue or what you're trying to support or not. But your number 1 goal first is to attack that case law and pull out the relevant legal standards and any elemental tests and put them into an organizational scheme of headings and rule statements. You can worry about, analysis and maybe making counter arguments or compare and contrast when you get to the analysis portion in your writing. But in your preliminary organization, your focus is on getting the rules and elements onto your document on the computer. Number 3, how do you know where to really spend time on your analysis? The case law is your guide. So if the court is going into an element or standard significantly, maybe in a couple paragraphs, or you go to the next case, usually in the 90-minute PT, we have about 2 cases, and you go to maybe case 2, and they're still going into maybe the same element, or they're giving you another standard for it, that is a major issue, and you want to give a little bit more cushion to bolster your analysis points in your analysis section for those issues and rules as well. Number 4, tone. Tone is very important on the PT. It can definitely make or break your score. So if they have assigned you a persuasive or objective PT, where do you find that? That will be in your task memorandum. And how do you tell the graders that you know you're an objective or persuasive PT? It's based on your headings and conclusions. So in a persuasive PT, your headings will have language like the strongest argument and your conclusions as well. So you want to use language like the strongest position, the winning position, the prevailing party, as opposed to objective language in your headings and conclusions that are more in line with looking at both sides. So most likely will prevail, or probably is language that you'll use in those instances. And number 5, timing. This is definitely one of the most crucial steps. It's where applicants need to work the most on how to really hit all the points from the case law pursuant to the task in the right tone in 90 minutes. I always say if applicants had an unlimited amount of time with the PT, they would all be getting, 75s and 80s and above, but that timestamp does create a lot of pressure. So once you're done creating your framework within the case law in that first 45, 50 minutes of outlining, then you divide the amount of sections that you have into the remaining 45, 50 minutes, and you have to give yourself 45, 50 minutes to complete your IRAC. So to fill in your analysis and conclusions, and you divide the sections you have into the remaining time, and you have to watch the clock. That is the maximum amount of time per IRAC that you are allowed to spend. So let's say you assign 5 minutes per section, maybe you carry over and give yourself a couple more minutes for major issues or major areas. That is it. Once the clock is, going down to the minute in that assigned time, you have to get out of that IRAC, and it's got to be disciplined. You have to practice this over and over again with different types of PTs to make your timing. Put any questions below, any tips that you might have. I hope this was helpful. I'll have more PT tips along the way. Good luck.